Yep.
I'll turn blue, and then on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
it should open up that camera
Yep.
when you would.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah, I'm looking at YouTube and I see you.
All right. What's up, world? It's a great day to be alive, sober, and free to all my YouTubers out there. No. Hmm. So I did the. Oh, it's not saying go live. Something else that I needed.
Yeah, video.
Huh?
Let me see the video. Oh,
Am I supposed to hit start screen share right there?
no, I don't. Just on the video so I can see you. Just hit the screen, the camera button so I can see it. Show me that what you're so I can see it. There we go.
This is
Okay,
this is not blue.
okay, that's no, not in there. So we go into the OBS and see over there right underneath YouTube.
Yeah,
Click the little thing. Click it.
nothing happening.
All right. Go into the settings under bottom on the bottom there. Right where the on the no, not that one. Right underneath. Give me closer. Closer. Where the right there. Yes. And then so you're gonna have to go to main outputs. Remove that. Then go into Facebook again. Go to. Give me closer. I can see.
This right here.
Yeah. Stream key, and then wait. Go down. Wait. Hold on. Go down. Persistent. Yes. Always keep it persistent on. And yeah, copy that, and then go over to add. Go into OBS, and then go back into those settings in HM, and then add outputs. Go to Facebook, and then paste that. Everything okay? And then click that, and then there you go. It's on, and then now go back over to Facebook, and that video should pop up any second.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby.
Welcome back to another episode of Sober Talk with Brothers Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby. Man, I hope everybody's having a beautiful week, a beautiful day. If the sun was shining, I was in Fargo last night and half of today, and it was beautiful, man. It's a beautiful day just to wake up and sober, you know what I mean? And to be able to be grateful for the things we do have, because we get so complacent sometimes that we got these built-in forgetters, and we forget all the stuff we just went through, and lose gratitude for all these prayers that we prayed for, and these blessings came. So my motto is never let your blessings become your burdens. You know what I mean? So I'm very thankful for that. And shout out to the Ridge Treatment Center. Um, I got to go speak to the patients, the residents there today, and they got a great team over there, a great organization going on. And shout out to them. I mean, there's some very great things going on, and I feel so grateful to be able to go and speak and to help men and help people. It's so amazing. But I got a special guest here tonight. She's an oldie but goodie. You know what I mean? She came from the res. She used to carry a butterfly knife in her shop. You know what I mean? She was out there for no dapple. You know what I mean? She was throwing rocks. She had a towel wrapped around her head. And but it's my sister, Harry Israel. How you doing, sis?
I'm doing good. Good to see you, man.
I know. I'm so glad that y'all came up here today. You know, and she's got a bodyguard with her. You know what I mean? He knows how to fix leaky sinks, and that's my brother. Shout out to Steve. And so Kerry is the director of the sanctuary sober living for women in Minot, North Dakota.
Yep.
Was that the first sober living for women in Minot?
From my understanding, yes. I don't think they had anything like long term, like how the sanctuary is set up.
Right,
Yeah, the model that we embody, it's a 9-month commitment.
right,
But I think they had some like recovery homes and stuff like that, but they weren't anything long term.
right.
So
And so me and Kerry, we met at Hope Manor Sober Living right here in Bismarck, North Dakota, which was started by Judith Roberts. You know, uh, she Australian, New Zealand boomerang throwing lawyer, riding motorcycles and travel, and judge now, and teacher, and amazing woman. Like they should have her in like a book somewhere.
don't forget van life living now.
Huh?
Van life living.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, she's done so much amazing stuff to help people that it saved my life. Matter of fact, it saved everybody's life that's in this studio right now. And so that opened up a women's house. What year? You know what year it was? The history?
Up in Minot?
No, the Hope Manor house, first women's house.
I want to say 2014. Yeah.
Okay, so 2014, uh, the first house was open. It was for women, and then not too long after that, the first men's house opened. Uh, and it was open, really ran with by Dave Mann, and rest in peace, happy heavenly birthday, my brother Brian Thomas. Um, and they have an 85% success rate. You know what I mean? Um, and which is remarkable for people to stay sober for the rest of their life. And uh, and that's amazing because there's a lot of sober living treatment facilities in the world, in the United States, and Hope Manor really works. You know what I mean? And it's just the structure of it, the system, the process. You know what the opposite of a process is, Kerry?
Deconstruction? No.
Chaos.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You at a riot with your butterfly knife, swinging nunchucks in one hand, and you got
I coordinated, man. You give me a lot of credit.
with a t-shirt that's airbrushed that says, "Where's my man?" You know what I mean? And so, but uh, that's where me and Kerry met. Um, and we was in there around the same time. And then I think she fell in love and she left, and she came to at a a gas station in
Mhm.
Rapid City. What was the name of that gas station?
Common sense.
Common sense. Tell me this ain't a God aha moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so she left after being sober for a while for love. They say that the two things that take you out the game is romances, finances,
Mhm.
resentments, and loneliness. You know what I mean? Uh, and she left and she wound up in Rapid City, saw big old rapid. You know what I mean? And she had an aha God moment at a gas station called Common Sense. That's something.
Yeah.
Man, we should find that logo of
Mhm.
that gas station. Is it still there?
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
there in the
We
city?
go back every
And we
summer.
should get some t-shirts made. You know what I mean? Uh, and she came back. She wound up coming back to Hope Manor, and she's been the best version of Kerry that can be. And so, what you been up to, sis?
Well,
Heard you running a tight ship in mine now.
I don't know. 1 second. Well, after Hope Manor, I think I was there for almost 3 years. I think I was there as a assistant manager, and then just as a resident. And 2 days before my 3-year anniversary, I threw a fit and left. I didn't leave for love.
Mhm.
I just left because I was pouting.
Oh,
And then I worked for a nonprofit in Mandan for a while called Sacred Pipe Resource
yep.
Center. We did a lot of activities with the youth in the Bismarck Mandan community, the indigenous youth.
Mhm.
And then in November of 2021, we lost Carolyn.
Mhm.
She passed away suddenly.
And she
Very.
was also in Hope Manor with us.
Hmm.
She got out of Hope Manor. Well, she, had been there for a long time, and she was the founder
Yep.
of the sanctuary.
Yep. Um, Due to the work of Power of the Purse in Minot, North Dakota, they reached out to Judith at one point, and I think they wanted to take the model that Hope Manor was and move it up to Minot.
Right.
But Judith already had 3 homes here, and then she had, I believe, the Jamestown house was starting to
Right.
get underway.
Hmm.
So Carolyn took on that endeavor, and she moved up there,
Yep.
and she did a great job. It's a beautiful home.
And she loved it too.
Oh yeah, she was meant to do it.
Right.
And that was her stomping grounds, I guess, and she wanted to give back to that community
Yeah.
that she had done some, I don't know if it's damage or harm or what you want to call it, but
Right.
she raised chaos there.
Right.
But yeah, she passed away in November 21, and then December.
How long was the sanctuary open before she passed? Like 2 years?
3 years,
3 years?
about 3 years and 5 months around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, May 1st, 2018 was they welcomed their first resident home. And then it's just been going since.
And so, how long has it been in operation now?
We just celebrated 7 years in May.
Congratulations. 7 years of, and in those 7 years, how many women you think have been through that house?
Well, I can only speak for since I
You got a
started.
clicker?
I
One in,
should
one
get a
out.
clicker. I should get a clicker.
Right.
But just since I've been there, I believe in 2022, we served at that point 76 women, and
And in 1 year?
yeah, about 13 months. And it
Okay.
wasn't and they're not all 9 month stays. These are a lot of them are women that came in and they're there for a little bit and they decide that it's not for them and they leave. And I count every single one of them, even the
Right.
one that lasted 20 minutes,
Right.
because we've had that happen a few times. But the ones that end up staying, typically they're there at least 6 months. A lot of times they stay for their entire commitment to 9 months. So,
Hmm.
but and that was in 2022, 2023. We saw a little bit of a decline down to 70, but we had more women there long term than we
Hmm.
did the year before. This year's been a little, what, 2023, 2024, it's about the same amount of number. We've served, it's consistent right around between, I would say, 60 to 75
Okay.
women every single year. Um, but yeah, it stays busy.
Yep. And I'm so happy that you're able to continue that that dream
Hmm.
for our sister.
Yeah.
Um, what's your sobriety date, sis?
June 25th, 2018. Yep.
Congratulations.
I just
Y-
celebrated 7 years too.
Hey,
Yep.
congratulations. 7 years of sobriety. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? She went from looking up at the common sense sign gas station in Rapids, big old Rapid City, to now the director of the sanctuary that's saving so many women's lives and helping them. Now, all of them don't get saved. You know what I mean? It's just the fact of it.
Mhm.
So just give me a little backstory about your where you're from and your upcoming.
Okay. I'm from the Standing Rock Reservation from a Cannonball from a community called Cannonball, North Dakota.
Okay.
It's kind of infamous now because of the No Dapple
Yeah.
protests and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
that's where I grew up. In the on the Big Lake Road, they call it. It's
Yeah.
where my grandpa's place was.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my father's family was from, and then my mother's family was from Solon, North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there my whole life. You know, I was in Cannonball, between Cannonball and Fort Yates. Those were the two communities that I grew up in.
So I heard something. I just want to make sure I'm accurate with this. So the natives from Cannonball were Dakotas.
Well, depends on which family, you know.
Okay.
Some are, for the most part, it's Dakota. You
Right.
know, I can't. I'm not an expert, so I couldn't. I don't want to pretend like I
Right.
am one. I'm still learning a lot about my culture. I'm just now learning the language a little bit,
Right.
and uh, I'm just now learning some of the ceremony stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
but my family is Dakota. You know,
Okay.
yeah,
Dakota.
yeah, Dakota.
And what's the difference between Lakota and Dakota?
Well, it's funny, I swear. So just like it like looking at it, right? So it's the L and the D. The Lakota has the L dialect. Like when they pronounce different words, there's the L,
Uh,
and then with Dakota, there's the D. You
okay.
know, so
So
there's also a third one called Nakota, but you know
okay.
that one there's not many, I believe, left, and not in that I guess what do you call it, dialect?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So if somebody's out there watching right now and they don't really know anything about Native American history
Hmm.
or in such, um, so in history class when you was growing up and you heard about all these stuff, uh, this is where we're at is actually the place where a lot of that stuff you heard about happened. You know what I mean? So, General Custard, Fort Lincoln, um, Sitting Bull, you know, Sitting Bull, it was a famous chief, you know, and so all these people and all these tribes were actually the stuff you heard about. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot of history here, you know, and that's what I'm interested. Even when I moved here and I still wasn't sober, I would meet like, I would meet some Lakotas or whatever, and we'd be drinking and doing our thing, and I'd be like asking them questions like, man, like tell me about this. Like you're not studying your history, your culture. Like I
Hmm.
don't give a I don't care about that. Pass the fireball. You know what I mean? And so and now I've seen with my own eyes a generation of natives um find sobriety
Hmm.
and start practicing
Yep.
their traditional ways and learning more about their culture.
Hmm.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. You know,
It truly is.
it is because once once you forget about your culture and your history, I mean, you're pretty much lost. You know, and we all get lost sometimes.
Yeah. Well, there's a saying that like if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. You
Right.
know, so for me, like, well, you touched on the Native community and how there's this like surgence of different like a whole generation of people that are getting sober and stuff.
Right.
And I really think in the state of North Dakota and you know, like just from my observation, MHA started that off.
Hmm.
You know, they started getting their people out to treatment centers and stuff, and they kind of set the tone for what natives were capable of doing. You
Right.
know, natives in general, not by tribe, not by you know family or, or clan or anything, just in general. Like if you're native and you want to get sober, there's a chance.
Hmm.
And I think for a lot of people, myself included, I didn't know any other life really, you know?
Right.
And don't get me wrong, my life wasn't, you know, like terrible. Like I had a good mom that, you know, she went to work every day. She took care of us. I had a dad that, you know, he was troubled himself, but he did the best he could with what he had kind of thing.
Right.
And it's taken a lot of growth and a lot of work in the steps and stuff
Right.
for me to realize that I'm capable of more than just getting by kind of thing, you know.
Right.
You know, in some of the recovery literature, there's a line that says the alcoholic life seems the only normal one.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I got sober, I honestly didn't think that I'd be able to own a car again, or
Mm-hmm.
do what I'm doing today, or go back
Right.
to school, or have good relationships with my mom and my sister and my brother and my kids. Like it's just amazing. And I gotta give credit where credit's due. Like, there were people from my reservation that got sober long before I did, and the ones that I look up to are Teddy.
Yep.
Teddy,
Shout out to Ted Kelly.
yep,
That's my brother. He's a great father, and man,
yep.
I I have so many words to say. He actually done a few events, prison events, with Sober Talk.
Yep. He's a good guy. He's got a very powerful story,
Yep.
and the way that he delivers his story, it brings you in, you
Right.
know. Then you have Margot walking out, Margot
Yep.
Benson, like she is one of the like she's gonna laugh. She'll probably laugh at this, but she's one of the craziest people I've ever met. But she's also one of the sweetest, kindest people I've ever met
Right.
too. And she's super smart. And then you have Jana Wolf Necklace. Like
Mm-hmm.
those three are the ones that when I look back to the beginning of before I even got sober, where I was able to look at them and be like, I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna be able to do this, not because, oh, if they can do it, anybody can, but no, like I watched them. Thank God for Facebook for that, because I got to watch that journey with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like Margot getting out of prison and how her whole life changed because she took the next right action.
Mm-hmm.
Jana, how she turned her whole life around,
Right.
and she's this mom who's engaged with her kids, and now she's got this whole movement happening down
Yep.
on Standing Rock
Well, they
called,
all do,
yeah, Reservation Recovery. Like her and Margot kind of partnered together. From my understanding, the two of them partnered together and got the ball rolling.
and
And it,
it's amazing that they did that because in my sobriety, for like years, I was hearing like, man, they got this going on up here, this going over here, but somebody needs to help Standing Rock.
yep,
You know what I mean? And
yep,
you just kept hearing that,
mm-hmm,
but nobody was doing anything. And so they actually took the initiative and said, "We're gonna do this."
yep,
You know what I mean?
yep,
We're gonna be the ones that's gonna that's gonna do it, and they did, and it's still going. And so I think that's amazing.
yep. And it just, I always remember the first time I saw, like, I was seeing all these pictures posted on Facebook of the first Res Recovery event,
Mhm.
and I just bawled my eyes out because that was something I used to pray for when I was in sober living. Like,
Yeah,
how do we get this? How do we take what we're learning here and take it home?
right.
And I'm incredibly grateful to be able to witness something like that in my lifetime, because there's there's a lot of good on the reservation. There's a lot of people that live good lives and clean lives and sober lives, but unfortunately, I wasn't one of them.
Mhm.
And there's a whole lot of other people that struggle with the same thing I struggled with, which was alcoholism addiction.
Right.
And to be able to I don't know, just be able to be a part of something, because I've gotten the chance to go down and share once, and I remember thinking to myself, like, this is exactly what's needed here. And it's so beautiful because it's not like it's not a part of anything else, it's its own thing. So they only answer to them. Like, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes I say that a lot. I say, does that make sense?
Right. Well, yeah, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's amazing, sis, to be able to look at how it is now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, as far as the sanctuary and your journey with being a director of a sober living facility,
Mm-hmm.
um, like how was your mind frame when you like the first year you was in there head first,
Mm-hmm.
like and how it is now? Like, tell me some of the things that you learned and how like you learned,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this is can't happen no more, or like how good things happen or trends, like when it first started, like the trend of like the women, and then like now, like
Mhm.
does it speed up? Does it slow down?
Yeah. Well, so like the first year, I think, I was getting my feet wet. I was kind of feeling like I was drowning a little bit. I was trying to be Carolyn, I was trying to be Judith, I was trying to be Megan, trying to be Ryan, trying to be all these different women that I watched walk through recovery that I
Right. But you know what? You had their phone number.
yeah
You know what I mean?
yeah
And so
yeah
so that's amazing because these people they had a learning experience doing it too,
yep
but they had some wisdom and some
hmm
ups and downs of
yep
knowledge of what to do, what
yep
not to do, what to expect. And so,
I was really lucky, you know, like I was really lucky because I was able to contact those women and be like, okay, this is what I'm struggling with today. This, we had this issue happen in the home today. What do I do?
right,
You know, and in the beginning it was, okay, you're gonna do this. And then
right,
after a while it was, what do you think you should do?
right,
So they were teaching me through that whole process too. And, you know, in the beginning, we had like beds were getting filled.
mhm,
Not every single bed, because like we get them filled and then one would leave. And
mhm,
it was just kind of like that. And it happens a lot. It's a revolving door sometimes because sometimes people just aren't ready. You
right,
know, they might think they are. And I believe them like when they apply and we do interviews, they're
mhm,
sitting across from the table from me and they say, I don't want to do this anymore. I see in their eyes that they don't want to do it anymore.
right,
But the trick behind staying sober is that, not trick, but like the secret to success, I guess you would say, is that you take action and you get involved in recovery, you work the steps, you get a sponsor, you start helping other people.
right,
You do all the things that we were taught at Hope Manor. And, some people are willing to and some people aren't. And it's crazy because it really is the easier, softer way, you
mhm,
know, just to take the action and do the next right thing.
mhm,
Um, but I'll tell you what, man, like my disease had me working overtime just to stay high, just to stay sober.
right,
And I always remember somebody saying, if you put half of what you put into your recovery that you did staying high and drunk,
right,
you're gonna be fine, you
mhm,
know. So that's what I try to mimic. Like whenever I start feeling like I don't want to go somewhere or do something,
mhm,
I'm like, okay. I remember walking from North Bismarck to South Bismarck just to
right,
get what I thought I needed at that time.
right.
So why
In the
wouldn't I?
rain
Yeah, why wouldn't I go to a meeting tonight? You
with
know?
no shoes on.
Yep, or someone else's shoes.
Right.
I'm a
Um,
shoe thief.
so like you watching all these women go through the home, um, what have you learned about how this disease affect women? Like
Mhm,
what is your thoughts on how it affects men
mhm,
and women? Do you think women, because it does say that in our literature, it says that um a woman is
it
it,
succumbs faster.
yeah, like
Man.
10 times faster, 10 times
Mhm.
worse than men. You know what I mean? And it comes quicker. So like what are your thoughts on that? Like from your study?
That's a really good question. Just from my observations
Yeah.
alone, like I do think that hmm, it's different though, because you have to think about the fact that in the 30s, those men that became alcoholics, a lot of them had men in the home.
Okay.
You know, a lot today, you see a lot of single parent households. You
Right.
know, and so I wouldn't be able to say like, oh, I think it affects women worse. I honestly think it's all about, you know, their environment, how they grew up. You
Right.
know, I'm trying to remember some of
Right.
my psych
So
knowledge.
one thing I realized like after being sober for years is like a lot of the women that's been to prison and they're going through this was suckered in. Well, usually the trauma starts at childhood.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, and at some point in their life, they put all their love and trust into some man, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying everybody does this, but they're usually like a drug dealer or something, and
Hmm.
they have them selling drugs for them
Yeah.
and things like that, and then they go to prison because they get caught,
Yeah.
and the guy is still free. You know what I mean? And then their life is a crazy cycle,
Yeah.
and I studied that because I used to be one of those men. You know what I mean? Like that that acted like that and manipulated and controlled, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so, but that became like a norm for women, you know what I mean? Like, and then they get out and they find somebody they can sell for, or you know what I mean, or something.
It's an addictive lifestyle.
Right,
You know, just in general, not even take the drugs out of it, take the booze out of it.
right,
Money alone,
right,
it's very intoxicating.
right.
Um,
And I think that at some point in our twisted minds, like when you can go out there and do a bunch of illegal things and come up with a whole bunch of money, you know what I mean, in a day, it's like an accomplishment. You know what I mean? Like I accomplished this.
Yep. Yep.
But uh it's kind of like insane because yeah, you accomplished it, but you're probably going to give most of that money back to somebody, and then you're going to use the rest of that money
Mm-hmm.
to do whatever, and then you end up with nothing, you know?
Full disclosure, I never made any money.
Right,
I always ate up,
right.
used up my supply.
Well, me too.
You know.
No, I'd like to sit here and tell you I was a very historic, successful drug dealer, but that's false.
That's
You know what I mean? Uh, because
I
you
like
can't
right.
be a, listen to me. You can't be a successful businessman moving. See, when you say moving drugs, it's different from selling drugs. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And you can't be on the drugs
Right.
and trying to sell them. The most successful people I've seen in my life didn't do drugs. You know what I mean? And in that lifestyle, either if they change now or not, that's the people I've seen successful.
Yeah.
But when you're running around doing drugs, selling drugs, I mean,
It's beyond chaotic.
right.
You know, it's insane because like
Especially up here.
yeah,
You know
and
what I
then
mean?
you
It's a runaround.
the winter time. You know,
Yeah.
look, myself like I was homeless during the winter at one point, and I remember thinking to myself like, if it wasn't for the kindness of other people, like my family members or friends or exes or something,
Right.
I would have froze to death. You know,
Yeah.
because
I remember before that stage, because that's one of the later stages when I still had a car. I remember the first couple of years I was here and we had blizzards.
mm,
All in one night behind some dope. I ran out of gas twice
mm,
and got stuck twice in the blizzard. And I remember one time the flow was so high
mhm,
at the loafing jug that you couldn't even drive to the pump. So I had to like find like some container and like the snow was up to my waist to go over there and get gas
yeah,
and finally get the car running and stuff. And then like 30 minutes later, trying to get to wherever the drugs is at and get stuck.
yep,
You know what I mean? And it was just like it was always like that here. It's
yep,
like a runaround. Like
yep,
somebody didn't show up, or you got a phone with no charger. You know what I mean?
or no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, or something to smoke with no lighter. You know, it's just all you be so stressed out after like 3 days. The only thing I found that worked in the summertime is going jump in the river. The
Mm.
Missouri River stays 40 degrees no matter how hot it is, and that'll change your whole life. You know, like the restart. You know what I mean? But
Oh goodness.
but I only did meth once. You know, for 2 years. You know what I mean? I ain't slept since the 7th grade.
It's all one.
Man, but
For real though.
yeah,
What is it you say? It should come with its own
yeah.
certification.
Yeah, on one side it should say the devil, the other side it should become say you will become homeless.
Yep.
You will lose everything and you will go to jail. You know what I mean?
For real though.
Mhm.
I remember like I for me it was alcohol for a long time. Alcohol was my best friend, you know what I mean? Like every Friday, Saturday night go out
Right.
and it, pretty soon it was, you know, every single weekend. Pretty soon it was I was leaving work early on Friday. I was coming in late on Monday, you know,
Mhm.
just progression and then I ended up injuring myself. I blew my knee out playing basketball, and I ended up
Crossing
getting
them up.
no. I came down on someone's foot on a rebound,
Yeah.
and my leg went
Yep.
out.
I know how that feels.
And I got hooked to pain pills. I always remember I was in treatment the first time, and everybody was talking about all their drugs of choice and stuff. And I
Hmm.
was like, I've never done opiates, like real snotty like.
Hmm.
And they're like, didn't you say you were on Vicodin?
Right.
And I was like, is that what that is? You
And,
know, like
and I
just
could and I could relate to that because I remember growing up,
mm-hmm,
um, I was only gonna smoke weed and drink a little bit. That's what you know. And then it turned into pills. Then it
mm-hmm,
turned into all that and LSD. You know what I mean? Then it turned into all that and ecstasy.
yeah,
And and then it turned into all that and then cocaine. You know what I mean? But the one thing I was gonna never do was heroin.
yep,
You know what I mean? But I will say I've never shot up anything.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I've never shot up any drugs, and I've been in. Well, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But eventually I was snorting heroin. You know what I mean? So I like when people ask me, they say, "So what was your drug of choice?"
Mm.
And I laugh because at the
Everything.
beginning it was ecstasy.
Mm.
They used to call me the ex ninja. You know what I mean? People would be like, "Man, I ain't never seen somebody take that much ecstasy." You know what I
Mm.
mean? I would man, I'll take a half a pill every 30 minutes.
Oof.
You know, and I would take 2 bandanas,
How are
and
you alive right
I
now?
would put Vicks, uh Vicks rub on one and put it on my head and my ears and it'd be all cool. And then I would take another one and make it right here below my eyes. And I'd just be peeking. And they call me the ex ninja. You know what I mean? And they'd be like, what he's up to? And I'm like, I'm just chilling, but I feel amazing. You know what I mean? It's funny now because I can look back at it. But it's my drug of choice.
Yeah.
At the end, it was everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everything.
I want
What
to
you
feel,
got?
I want to feel up, down, all around. I want to fuzzy. I want to see stuff. You know what I mean?
Am I here?
And you know, because at the beginning it was top shelf liquor. We drinking Hennessy and
Mm.
Don Perignon. At
Yep.
the end, we drinking no name beer.
Juice.
You know what I mean?
For loco.
Yeah, and Fireball. And, you know,
Hurricane.
yeah. I mean, just whatever was available.
Yep.
You know, and then this is when you really know. Also, is when you're smoking any cigarette. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh.
You know, at first it was like Newports, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Cools, Camel non-filters,
Mm-hmm.
and but at the end it's like you picking up something off the ground and
Yep.
smoking it. You know what I mean?
I've done that. I've scooped them out of the cigarette, the butt cans and stuff. And
Right,
when I think about it now, because I quit smoking now, I haven't but smoked cigarettes since October 2018. That's the last time I had a
right,
cigarette. And I always remember watching somebody pick up a cigarette one day, and for a moment I judged. For a moment I was like, ugh. And then I was like, wait a minute. You used to do the same damn thing. You used to do it all the time. You didn't care. You didn't care where that had been before.
right,
And that's where our disease takes us, man.
right.
You know?
So it you just keep getting your morals and principles just keep getting
Mhm.
lower and lower and lower and lower until
Yeah.
you are bottom feeding. You know what I mean? Like a little catfish. You know what I
You know,
mean?
people have high bottoms, man. I don't think I would have stayed sober had I had one. You know,
Right,
like me, I had to lose everything
right,
because I had to have nowhere else to go in order to stay here, you know?
right. And everybody has their own different experience.
Mhm.
But I've sponsored hundreds of men. I've mentored thousands of people, and the hardest people I found to ever stay sober is people that got is successful and got a lot of money.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Because when you got that type of money and power, well, false power, but like when you could just say, I'm gonna jump on a private jet and I'm gonna fly to
Mm.
India. You know what I
Can you
mean?
imagine?
Yeah. I mean, this is real stuff people do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And uh and so those type of people I find is the hardest
Mhm.
because
They haven't heard enough yet.
yeah, well they haven't lost everything, you
Yeah.
know? But I found that when you lose everything, I'm talking about like below sea level, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? A frozen bottom, you have the best chances of staying sober forever because now you know what that felt like, and you're rooting yourself and growing a different tree,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Yep.
And
For sure.
so I believe that that's just my experience though.
Mhm.
And so I lost everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
I even lost my mind, you
Oh,
know?
for sure. You know,
Yeah.
that drug-induced psychosis, it's no joke.
Right,
You know, you start thinking that things are around you that aren't. You know what I mean? Like
right.
the shadow people.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
God.
be you be looking out the window across the street all night. Somebody over there looking at me. You know what I mean? The sun comes up, it's a Piggly Wiggly grocery bag in the tree blowing in the wind.
Drone. It's a drone.
Yeah. Uh,
Let me get my backpack. I gotta get out of here.
right. And so when I first moved to North Dakota and I was on all those drugs, I'd be so paranoid because I got PTSD. You know what I mean?
Because you were in the military, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh and so PTSD and methamphetamines is like doing a Christmas tree with gas on it. You know what I mean? Like and watch it, and it ain't good.
No.
And so here I wasn't used to everybody staring at you. You know what I mean? Like you go to Menards and you walk, and people
Not
be like
Menards.
staring at you. Well, back home, people don't do that. You know what I mean? Like because it'd be like if that person look at me one more time, I'm shooting that way. You know what I mean? And that people really be tripping like that. You know? So you mind your own business. So I'd be like, keep looking at me and
Oh,
stuff.
everybody's there
So
here.
so being that paranoid on these drugs, I found out something that that kept me okay. Even when like I see a cop just staring at me. You know what I figured out? You know what I mean? Every time somebody stared at me, and I feel like, oh man, I hope they don't, like
Yep.
see what something big in my pocket or something like that, and they be staring at me, and I'll be like, and
They would just be like,
it worked with the cops and everything. You know what I mean? Like all the time. Well, I thought it worked. It made me feel better.
in your mind it did. That's all
Yeah,
that matters.
yeah. But it was it was pain. It was suffering. You know what I mean? I'd be so high that I had every intentions of taking a shower that week,
Yeah.
but I'd be so paranoid my PO was about to kick in the door. It's like I'm playing jump rope in the shower, out the shower, watching the front door, in the shower, out the shower. You know what I mean?
What's that?
And that's the insanity. And so
Yeah.
I'm so thankful on a daily basis that I don't have to live like that anymore,
Right.
sis.
Right.
Um,
I'm telling you, like when I think back on it, like I know that was me, right? Like I
right,
know that I was the gal that got evicted several times, that never amicably broke up in relationships. It was always get your crap and get out,
right,
and got kicked out. I got kicked out of a friend's car, when we were both homeless.
hmm
That was me, I
yeah,
was the person that stole, lied, cheated,
yeah,
just had no, I wouldn't say I didn't have remorse, but like in the moment, like I couldn't feel anything other than I need to feed this, whatever this is I'm feeling right now. I need to take away this hurt, this pain, this uncomfortableness,
right,
this feeling like my skin's crawling, you know what I mean?
hmm
So I did whatever I had to do to get what I needed to get, or what I thought I needed to get.
hmm
And then I get to the place now where it's like, man, I can't even imagine that anymore. I can't imagine. I don't ever want to forget,
hmm
but I'm glad today that that doesn't seem normal.
hmm
I'm glad today that when I wake up in the morning, I'm not reaching for a cigarette or a drink or a needle. Like
right,
I don't have to do that today, and it's because recovery.
right,
Recovery is so beautiful, and to be able to watch other people recover, like what I get to do, what I
hmm
get to do for work.
hmm
It doesn't feel like work. Yes, it feels like work sometimes, but for
right,
the most part, like I get to watch these women. They come in, they're they're broken.
right,
They don't know what to do. They're lost. And then you get to watch them slowly unpack.
right.
Because usually when they get there, they don't want to unpack right away. Their stuff stays in their like duffel or their
hmm
suitcase, and then by day maybe 3, 4, or 5, you'll see them put clothes in the drawers,
hmm
and then pretty soon they're asking, hey, can my kid come over to visit me,
hmm
for a little bit? Yeah, that's one of the biggest things I think that I like to do, like not I like to do, but we like to do at the sanctuary is like if somebody has children and they have an opportunity to see their kids, even if it's during their probation period or their orientation period,
hmm
bring them over,
right,
to get that bond going,
yeah,
and it's probably one of my favorite things is to watch is them show their kids where they sleep and where they eat, and
right,
it's just it's comforting, because I get to watch my kids were grown by the time I got sober. Like my youngest one was in his teens,
hmm
and my older two were already, out of high school, in college and stuff. And I gotta give them a shout out, Charlie Davis and Ty. No,
yeah.
they're my
Whoa, whoa.
yep. They never gave up on me,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful that I get to watch these women rebuild their lives early, so that way their kids don't have to go through high school wondering, am I going to eat this week?
hmm
Is mom going to come home tonight? You know what
Right.
I mean? So yeah.
Well, I mean, that's creative. That's God's grace.
Mhm.
So what's anything new going on with the sanctuary? Any upcoming things that you're planning?
Well, we do have the Twice Blessed campaign coming up in November,
Okay.
but for now we're basically just getting the word out there that we are taking donations.
Mm-hmm.
We endured quite a few unexpected things that happened.
Mm-hmm.
We had a tree fall down. We've had limbs land on the roof. Thank God the roof is intact. Everything's fine there.
Right.
We had some major plumbing issues happen where we had some minor flooding in the basement, some damage to the carpeting. It was kind of like a little bit of a one thing after another thing.
Right.
So our coffers are low.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody's willing to or thinking about donating to a good cause,
Mm-hmm.
the sanctuary is a really good cause. We get to part of what I try to practice when I bring new women is if they don't have any money, I don't want that to be a deterrent, because a lot of times people think, okay, I don't have the money, so I can't go.
Right.
No, like, what matter, let me in without a cent to my name.
Me
Same.
too. I got
Yeah.
a front on my new lights.
Yeah. And I don't we don't want money to ever be a thing for why somebody can't come, you
Right.
know. So a lot of times they get there and they're there for a couple weeks, they get a job, and it takes a while for them to be able to pay their fees, their contribution to the house.
Right.
So what we're looking at right now is, we're about 2 months of operating costs left, and we still have 4 more to go.
Right.
So, like I've just been getting the word out there. We are waiting on insurance claims, stuff like that, but we are honestly, we are in need of some help,
Okay.
and the Minot community has been gracious and kind and very generous. But yeah, like we have a Facebook page, the Sanctuary Sober Living for Women.
Right.
We have all our donation information on there. If anybody wants it, they can message me on Facebook. I'm Kerry Gay Israel on Facebook.
Okay.
And let me see what else is there. We have a couple events coming up where we will be taking the women to different recovery things.
Okay.
We had the opportunity this last year to go several places
Mhm.
before all the detriment happened.
Right.
And it was budgeted. It was in our budget to do these things, but
Mm-hmm.
with all the repairs and the things that happened, it left us a little light.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell for that.
So how many women? What's your capacity there?
15,
15.
12 residents, and then three what we call house leaders.
Okay. And how much does each resident have to pay monthly?
The residents pay $500 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the hope is.
Right.
Yeah.
Um. So you just reminded me of someone's number I need to give you. Uh. It just rung a bell.
Okay.
So um. Do you stay at full capacity most of the year?
Not lately. We
Okay.
do have a lot of sober living homes that opened up there. I gotta give a shout out to Endeavor, Johnny over at Endeavor. He's got a whole movement happening there.
Women's house?
Yep, women's house. I believe there's a women's children that's going to be opening pretty soon, which is super exciting. But I give him big props.
Right.
And like Providence, the treatment center, there's so many avenues now today that weren't there when we got sober,
Right.
and it's just really really cool to see the Minot community embrace recovery,
Right.
and that people are wanting to help and all that. But yeah, there's other ones up there too. I know Air is going to be closing down because they sold their home, but
The sober living?
yeah.
But the treatment center's gonna stay open?
Well, Air is separate from Providence and Endeavor.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah. Air was All of Us in Recovery.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
my wife,
Hmm.
she's a peer support specialist for
Okay.
that organization.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and
So they had a sober house?
they did, yeah.
Okay.
The women's sober house, yeah. But I believe that I don't know if it was a contract or something, but they sold the home, and I think by September 30th, the residents have to find other places.
Okay.
And it sounds like they're getting in places, so that's good.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So how can someone uh how can they just go online and fill out an app?
Yep. On our Facebook page, we have a link. We also have a domain. It's sober. No, let me think for a second.
Right.
It's sobersanctuary.org, and it'll take you right to the main page where it says fill out an application. You just print it out, send it in, email it in, scan it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you meet with like probation officers and
They come to the house quite often. We have a very open door policy. We have
right.
a really good working relationship with state and federal probation.
Okay.
So yeah,
Have y'all ever connected with the Air Force Base?
actually no,
So
that's outside our realm right now.
right. So it's just something that popped up in my head.
Uh-huh.
Because what I've just from my own experience being in the military, being in the Air Force, is that that's where my drinking career really started.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's a lot of people that's on that base, men and women, that's undercover alcoholics and doing drugs undercover. You know what I mean? Because they don't know how to even say I need help. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So one thing that popped in my head as we were sitting here talking is like a referral. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if they got a woman that needs help
Mm,
there, I know the government has places they like to send people and stuff.
yeah.
But it was just a thought that popped up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so I don't know. It just popped up in my head for some reason.
Yeah. Well, like I'm I'm pretty involved in the recovery community in general up there.
Right.
I am of service to the district that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in the process of trying to build relations with the military base on that end. Not That's separate from the sanctuary though.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I think that it I guess it's kind of frustrating, I guess, that so many people think they can't ask for help.
Right.
And I was one of them for a long time. I kept thinking, I'll figure this out. Like I just gotta quit drinking. I just gotta quit buying dope. I just gotta
Right.
stop hanging out with that person or that person or that person.
Mm-hmm.
I just gotta get a job. Like all these external things I kept thinking were the fix. And it wasn't until, well into recovery, well, all of a sudden it just dawned on me, like the work needed to be done in here.
Right.
I needed, yeah, I needed the steps and stuff, but I also needed some other help, some outside help, like,
Mm-hmm.
counseling and stuff. Because you talked about trauma, like
Right.
a lot of people, not just women, a lot of people endure trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and some of it's very overt and very obvious, and then some of it's more subtle, like verbal abuse and emotional abuse, stuff like that.
Right.
Either way, that person still, you know, has this feeling. Well, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I had the feeling that if I couldn't figure out on my own, then I'm stupid, or
Right.
I'm dumb or something,
Right.
or I'm weak.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one. And today I know that's not the case. Like if somebody reaches out for help, that's an incredibly brave thing to do.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, you heard it straight from the director.
Mhm.
If you uh are a woman and you finally decided that you want to get help, or if you are a mom and you have a daughter, or vice versa, or you know somebody that needs a woman that needs some kind of help, they can definitely contact the sanctuary.
Mhm.
Also, the sanctuary is looking for donation, and it is a nonprofit, so it is a tax write-off for any
Mhm.
organization or whoever would want to help them out. Um, but it's in Minot, North Dakota, and it's sober living, and it can hold 13 women,
15.
15 women, um, and it's 500 a month to live there.
Yes.
That covers your stay, and but there's also a structured, and they have a lot of rules to keep people, to get them on the right path.
Yeah.
And so, when is the bless once, bless twice?
Twice Plus.
When
It
that start?
starts November 15th.
November
And
5th.
that's a dollar for dollar match.
Okay, dollar for dollar match. And so y'all stay tuned for that.
Mhm.
I'll always post sanctuary stuff on my pages. I always promote them. We like
Thank you.
family. And so yeah. So Kerry,
Hmm.
couple things. How's your love life?
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Really, he's my bodyguard. No.
right.
I call him
Uh,
my fella.
are you ever able to take a vacation from the sanctuary?
I was able to take one this last July. I went to a concert down at Red Rocks Amphitheater.
In
Yeah,
Colorado.
my first time ever,
Right.
and it was my first concert in 25 years, and it was actually the same band that I saw 25 years ago,
What
Incubus.
band?
Incubus.
Yep, I
Oh,
remember them growing up. You know.
Pardon Me.
Yeah.
Doing Drive. That was a big one for me. Drive. That was my in treatment. You know the treatment song.
Yeah.
That was my treatment song.
um, and I say, from my experience, this next question is like when you were on vacation for that,
Mm,
was it hard to not think about the sanctuary?
very. It's been my life for the last 3.5 years,
Right,
and it's probably there is some stress. You know what I mean? There
right,
there can be, but it is probably the most rewarding work I've ever done, other than working with children with special needs.
right.
It's just it's I got to learn how to unplug.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I'm serious. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Because I put my passion
Mhm.
in my heart. If I'm associated with anything, or if I'm doing something, we're going all the way with it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's no halfway.
Yep.
You know, and so I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You know, how do
Yeah.
you completely
Yeah. You know.
forget about what you've been doing? I mean, that's why I asked that because it's hard for me to do
Yeah.
that. You know?
The only thing that really keeps like when I'm with my family, you know, he this fella he suffers with me
Yeah.
whenever I'm on. Well, I shouldn't say suffer, but you put up with it.
Right.
Where it's like I'm there, but I'm there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like answering messages and stuff like that, and he's very understanding. And you talked about my love life. This is probably the most healthiest, best relationship I've ever been in my
You know
life.
why?
Why?
That man from the south.
He's a Texan. But the other thing that gets my mind off of it is probably school. You know, school makes it
What are you going to school for?
nursing. I do my white coat ceremony this coming Tuesday at 3 p.m.
What does that mean? You get your
I
license?
get induct. Well, I don't know if it's like an induction or it's the beginning of nursing school because
Okay.
I've been going to school for the last two years straight, basically.
Like to be an RN?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
To bachelor of science nursing,
Yeah.
and I my first go around I didn't get accepted because I fiddled around and waited to get my app in late,
Right.
and I caught over it
Yeah.
like they didn't want me, you know.
Hmm.
And then the second time around, I got it in right away. And, like I was just like, I'm doing this
Yeah.
because it was my lifelong dream. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be a nurse, and
Right.
I always thought I was maybe not smart enough or capable or just didn't have the drive for it. And I'm pretty sure recovery taught me that I can do this.
You
You know,
can.
yeah. So that.
That's one thing I've learned in my journey is that all the stuff I do now,
Mhm.
like in every aspect, I never even had a thought that I can accomplish that.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know. Like my problems today just baffle me because it's things like hmm, what do I want for dinner tonight? You know what I mean? Like something simple like that. Whereas before it was, how am I going to pay these lights? You
Right.
know, how am I going to get my insurance covered this month? Which I've kind of been struggling with that lately too. Part of running or being a part of a nonprofit when you're the person that's in charge of finances and stuff is when you're not, the revenue's not coming in, you go without a check. So it's been a little tough that way, but thankfully, like I have people in my life that help me,
Hmm.
and I know it's just temporary,
Yeah.
and I'm keeping track of every single dollar
Right.
because someday I'm going to get that back to them,
Right.
But I'm really grateful because today, like I said, my problems don't look anything like they used to, and even when tough things happen, I lost my dad about 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and it was tough because me and him didn't have the best relationship,
Hmm.
and I was pissed when he passed because it was like we're never going to get it now.
Right.
But I didn't once think about getting high, didn't once think about getting drunk.
Hmm.
I didn't want to go gamble even because gambling was a big one for me.
Yeah.
Um, I just showed up for my family. I
Right.
showed up and I tried to be of service as much as I could. Try not to take things personally if people were in a bad mood, realizing that death is a really stressful time.
Right.
I don't know how I got talking about that.
I'm
It just came out.
yeah. I'm just enjoying the conversation.
Mhm.
You know what's two of the biggest schemes ever in history in the world? Biggest hustles?
Funerals and taxes? Yeah.
Nope. Casinos and taxes.
Oh,
But
okay.
the difference is you don't have a choice about taxes.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
A casino, you have a choice not
Yep.
to go there. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And that's the whole scheme of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that dopamine fix. You know,
Right.
that's why so many addicts and alcoholics like that being at the casino for a while is almost like a gateway to that corner. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's what it was for me because there's times where I'd have a few weeks or maybe even a month of sobriety and I go to the casino and I
Hmm.
start playing. Next thing you know, a beer would be good right now,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, I'm sitting at the dope dealer's house waiting for the plug to get back.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Hmm.
Um, but I also know that I've used up all my rights in this lifetime to be able to take one drop of alcohol, do a drug,
Yep.
you know what I mean? To not even play around because if that happens, I'm gonna lose everything I got.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we have something today worth holding on to.
Yeah,
Working hard for.
right.
I always remember hearing growing up, like if it's easy to get, it's easy to lose.
Mhm.
Anything worth having is worth working for. And
Right,
I live by that today. I
right,
believe I'd rather live by that than fast money today.
right. But I also learned in sobriety that God's timing is everything.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And you got to pay attention. And so when it arises itself, you got to know that this is God's will. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And
Yep.
and what my sponsor told me and what I found is that when you're struggling this way and you're struggling that way, you're going against the grain, the thing that comes from God is the thing that comes with the least effort. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
The blessing.
Yep.
And a lot of people miss that. You know what I mean? Because they over here and they over there trying to like go against the grain and they miss we all our whole life we've been missing blessings.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
We had our head turned that way and it was bouncing off the back of our head like a Hail Mary football pass. All you had to do was turn around and catch it. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so and I've also learned that,
Hmm.
because when you get sober, when you get a place to live, when you get your license back, when you get a vehicle, things will get better,
Hmm.
but how you keep it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's the how do you let that continue like in a
Yeah.
racing arcade game? You know what I mean? Like because that's what we do. We build our life up and then we burn it down to the ground.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I don't know how many times I did that.
I did that a lot. I lost so many great careers.
Mhm.
I wouldn't even say jobs, careers. You know what I mean? I messed up so much,
Wrecked so many cars.
so much. I can't say I did that.
I mean, I did. Wrecked
Yeah,
a lot of cars.
yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, I don't know how. I never had a DUI.
Me either.
You
Not
know,
one single DUI. I thought
and I've been pulled over drunk and passed breathalyzer tests. Like I ain't never drinking again. Thank you, God. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yep.
And next 3 days later,
Drunk again.
yep,
Yep.
it happened on the same street in front of the same bar and club, like in 1 month.
Oh my god.
And I still was like, God's got me. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta tell a quick story.
All right, go
So,
ahead.
'cause you reminded me of something. So back when I was, I don't know, like I want to say, I don't know, 2014 or something. McQuaid's softball tournament was happening,
Okay.
and me and my daughter were coming up, and I was supposed to play softball that next day,
Mm-hmm.
and I took her to my mom's, dropped her off, went over to McDonald's, was gonna get her one of her smoothies that she liked,
Mm-hmm.
and on my way back over to my mom's, I got pulled over by the cops. Well, there was a car in front of me full of kids, and they were just like all over.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Ooh, someone's gonna get pulled over." I didn't know it was me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like the cop lit up the lights, whatever, and I thought he was gonna go around me. No,
Mm-hmm.
he came right up behind me, and I got taken into jail that night.
Right.
My daughter had to come bail me out with her rent money. A couple, I don't know, weeks later, get pulled over by the highway patrol going speeding down on Highway 6, and I'm pissed. I'm just like, not again. They're racial profiling.
Right.
And my mom's like, "Oh, please, you're barely beige."
Right.
And it's nighttime. It was just, I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny.
Right. And what we can look at now is that if we were a cop,
Mhm.
it's so easy to see somebody that's gonna get arrested for something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you know that somebody in this car is gonna have warrants, and there's probably something illegal
Hmm.
going on. And so it's we make it easy for the
Oh
cops.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And and that's why it's like here, like back home, you would rarely hear the word indictment.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here, that's it's all federal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like fishing with dynamite. For you know what I mean? People here, for real.
Yeah.
Because one thing about people that, well, especially people that do meth, they like to talk a lot. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I mean, it's
Knock
so
themselves
easy.
right into an indictment.
Yeah, it's like uh the little old fishing game where the little things just turn, you just pick them up. You know what I mean? And and so this is not the place where you want to come and be a drug dealer. You know what I mean? At all.
Nope.
And they keep coming. You know what I mean? People keep coming. You will get indicted. I guarantee you that. And yeah,
Mm.
that's what's gonna happen. You know.
So how does it feel being married?
So it feels. I mean, that's the same thing. Like when you get married in the church, uh, they want people that don't live together. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And and then we were even asked like, can you move out for 6 months until this happens? You know what I mean? Or whatever. But what I said was, if we've been already living together for 3 years,
Hmm.
at least we know it's go. I mean, it's been working, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so we did come up with, okay, one person's gonna sleep on the couch and then the other's gonna sleep on the bed to the best of our ability. You know what I mean? But I just couldn't imagine like, I mean, people do it and it's
Hmm.
done, but like I couldn't imagine like just marrying somebody that I I don't really know.
Right.
We haven't lived together. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I mean, is it a lease? You know what I mean? If you know, if I don't like it after a month, can I return it? You know?
You better
No,
not turn her
no, I'm not talking about my situation. I'm just talking about
general.
yeah,
Yeah.
the whole topic of it.
Yeah.
Um, but happy for the people that still do it. But planning a wedding is really stressful. I recommend, if you can afford a wedding planner, pay for that and get help. Because when me and my wife planning everything ourselves and having to pay for a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
ourselves too was really stressful.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And so I guess that was the I mean, it's been stressful for us this year, planning and getting ready for it and making sure everything goes, the right way.
It
And
looked beautiful though.
yep,
Like,
it
beautiful.
was. It was. And it was a great week with family here and both my children and I mean, I'm 43. I'll be 43 Monday.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I never been married. Um and I feel that I prayed finally for after like even in my sobriety after years of being sober and uh all these different women, you know, uh one of my mentors told me, he said, your son is paying attention to everything you do.
Ooh.
And so if you got all these women, eventually he's gonna realize that they ain't all his aunties. You know what I mean? And so and so I prayed, I finally it was so hard to get on my knees and say, God,
Mhm.
send me somebody that could be my wife and that we can all adapt and be a family. You know what I mean? Because structure and having a family, in the long run, it's what we're supposed to do. You know what I
Yep.
mean? We're supposed to have kids and raise them, even if they're yours or not,
Mhm.
and have a family, a structured life. You know what I mean? And all of us, like generations and generations, people come from broken families,
Yep.
and it just keeps happening. You know what I mean? And so that cycle, uh, we got to be the ones to stand up, either for your reservation or
Mhm.
for your family or for whatever. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because the cycle will just keep going,
Yeah.
you know?
Time to end that though. You
Right.
know.
So I'm very thankful for what sobriety has brought me. I'm very thankful for all my blessings.
Mhm.
Um, as a family, we pray together and we live. You know what I mean? And we talk and we get mad at each other sometimes and have disagreements and uh, we talk though and we come. You know what I mean? Because when you talk, uh, sometimes the angle you're looking at something and the angle that person is looking at it could be totally different and we don't even know it. And
Mhm.
people will go 10, 20 years being mad at somebody and having a resentment and not even know it was just a misunderstanding. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so that's one thing I learned. You can never go to sleep mad at anybody. You know what I mean? Uh, because it gets stored away. You know,
Mhm.
you should never scream at your kids before they go to bed or stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or as soon as they wake up,
Oh, I know.
of anybody. Because when you're waking up, you want to start off your day with gratefulness and smiles and stuff, and then the rest of your day should attract and manifest that stuff and keep going. And so that's what I try to live by. Not every day is sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're all not ain't nobody in this world perfect. You know what I mean? Because I think about robbing banks from time to time. But it's a fleeting thought. It's a fleeting
It's
thought.
there and it's gone.
Yeah. You know what I mean? See some hubcaps I want to snip some. Uh,
Goodness.
you just gotta work on yourself on a daily basis, and it takes time.
Yeah.
You mess up your whole life in a half a second, it'll take you 14 years to fix it.
When did you get to the place where like you realized how precious your life was? Like how were you was it right away when you immediately got sober or did it take a little while?
No, it's when uh, it's when I realized that I have an impact on my kids' life, my family's life,
Yeah.
and people that say that I helped them. You know what I mean? Or change. So it's like God, when I prayed for a life with meaning,
Mhm.
God gave me that. He wasn't playing. And he gave me a task. You know what I mean? And it keeps manifesting and manifesting and manifesting. And so that's why I wake up every day and I'm very grateful. And I got a lot of stuff to do. You know what I mean? And so that's what people ask me all the time. They're like, man, I don't even know how you do all that stuff you do. Like,
Yep.
and I don't know either. Life used to be boring. It's like not boring, but I had, you want to be my friend? You know what I mean?
I thought sobriety was gonna be boring and I haven't had a I can't remember last time I've been bored.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got a big responsibility
Mm-hmm.
uh in my new life. You know what I mean? Like I was supposed to be dead a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And to be given this new life as grace, as a gift from God, uh, I have a big responsibility to show that I'm grateful for that gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to help other people. And I have to I try to a lot of people know that. They see that, but some people I have to explain that to. You know what I mean? Like I understand what you're saying, you know what I mean? But I have to do this. You know what I mean? It's the only way that I'm gonna fulfill and stay on the path that I am is by doing the things that
Yeah.
God has he's you know what I mean?
Yep.
And not only am I trying the best I can to do it, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people go their whole life and not finding out what their passion.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Their purpose. Yeah.
They just be miserable and do stuff other people told them to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I've been blessed to found what my gifts are, what my passion is, and what I was put on this earth for.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And who I really am. You know, because before I didn't know who I really was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you get to face all that all those fears, all those guilts, all those shames, all those things that were tearing you up your whole life. You get to face that. And then people be like, man, I don't know how you get in front of all these people and freely talk and laugh about all the stuff that you've been through and all that. Because I'm healed from it.
Right?
You know what I mean? I faced it sober, and that's why I could talk about all the stuff I was so ashamed of. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, like your comment, the
I
question
lost $10,000 one time
you
in
were
Bourbon Street.
you were at Mardi Gras or something like
Yeah, I
that?
couldn't
Yeah.
even fathom it. Like my brain went process. I was like, what? You know what I mean? Uh,
Oh man.
yeah.
The question you asked earlier about the difference between men and women. Yeah, I had something. I think I lost it. Ugh.
You've been taking notes, Steve?
You were talking, okay, purpose.
Yeah, women and men.
The difference.
The difference.
Yeah. The shame. So I think that a lot of times, not just in recovery, but in general, I think like when women go through trauma,
Hmm.
uh, it's not as shocking.
Hmm.
When men go through trauma, it's almost like it's so shocking they can't mention it and they're afraid to mention it,
Right.
And it's not a gender bias with trauma, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
trauma happens to everybody.
Right.
But I do notice that with women it's easier to talk about the things that have happened to them amongst other women
Right.
as opposed to if men are around.
Right.
And same thing. So yeah, that's all I was gonna say. It was amusing.
Right. And I look at like that's what I look at like with my son growing up and kids in general. Is I've been blessed with I wouldn't say a photographic memory, a videographic memory. Like I remember like seriously I can see like it happening.
Yeah.
Like when I was 3 years old. You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
I asked my mom, like I could vividly see the situation. And I asked my mom a couple times, and I said, "How old was I during that time?" Because I remember it vividly. She said, "You was 3.
Oh wow.
You was 2.5, 3 years old." And so you and and so I look at like all the things that happened during my life
Mm.
and how it affected me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's what I look at. Like when I meet someone that tells me they never done a drug in their life, but they might drink. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I'd be like, that's amazing. You know what I mean? 'Cause if we never drank, never did drugs, all of us, you know how smart all of us would be? You know what I mean? For real.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder that too sometimes.
And if we had no TV or
Mhm.
radio, like,
What we would be capable of doing. Like
right,
how much initiative would we have then? We
right,
have all these distractions today.
right.
So yeah.
We ain't supposed to be eating 13 donuts in one setting. You know?
Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. And so I think about all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and when I meet someone that's a virgin, you know what I mean? Like
They never did nothing.
you 25 and you a virgin? Man, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's it, or just different things. Or somebody that tells me they didn't start drinking and drugging until they was 30. I'd be like, man, that's amazing. You know what I mean? It's because I started at a very young age, and
Mhm.
that warps your whole life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Stunts your growth
It
for
stunts your
sure.
spiritual growth, your mental growth,
Hmm.
all that. And so that's the things that I try to like show kids or the youth or even parents is that I know from experience how this did this way, this did that way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And how it affected me
Right.
and how it affected other people that I've seen,
Hmm.
because I had resentments for my mom for a long time. You know what I mean? And there's no well, they do have books for parenting, but most of it is on the job training. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's learning it as you go.
Right.
And and so if you can look at how your childhood was and how different things affected you in the long run at that time,
Mhm.
um, you can change the generation. You know what I mean? You can change how everything goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's a great thing to be able to catch youth early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've interviewed uh, and, and mentored a lot of people, but interviewed a lot of people. And the number one age when people start drinking or drugging is middle school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Between age 12 and 14, in that
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
And so some is earlier, some is later. But at that time is when a lot of things that happen in a youth's life, women and female. You got hormones going on. You got people that's already through puberty and
Mhm.
and driving and stuff like that. And then you got some that's still like in a different stage. So that's when all the separation and trying to figure out yourself can happen.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it just keeps it'll lead on to and lead on to this. You know what I mean? And so uh I look at all that, you know what I mean? Because you got to look at where it starts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one of the first words my son said was mine.
Oh.
How do you know that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you know that? Because you can have a toy
Yeah.
and cry for it, cry for it, cry for it, and then a week later don't even play with it.
Right.
But if a kid from down the street comes over and plays with it,
Mhm.
mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and us being, it's like it's crazy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's like the little Energizer bunny with the battery on his back and the drum. You know what I mean? But us being addicts would have been like mine and crack the battery open and snort the battery acid. You know what I mean?
Heard it that way, but yeah,
But
pretty innovative.
right, because kids are sponges. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And they see stuff and then that's how they start to shape and form. And I'm no
Mhm.
expert. I'm just telling you what I learned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's a very good thing to be able to see how we ended up how we was and how we are
Mhm.
now.
And how we don't want to leave our kids with that, you know?
Right.
One of the coolest thing my daughter has ever said to me, me and my daughter have had like our ups and downs in our relationship. She went
Hmm.
through a period of time where she wanted nothing, not, I shouldn't say nothing to do with me, but like she was just so angry at me. And I
Right.
don't blame her.
Right.
You know, all three of my kids, I put them through a lot. And my daughter, I went to go visit her. I think it was her birthday last year, or it
Hmm.
was Thanksgiving. I can't remember, but she said to me, she said, when I do become a mother, I'm going to get the chance to be the mother that you weren't allowed to be.
Right.
Because I had kids really young, you know, and she's
Right.
33 now. And I remember I kind of teared up a little bit, and then I called my sponsor and I cried. I was just like, she's going to be a great mom, you know,
Hmm.
so she's not going to be carrying around all the stuff that I carried around,
Right.
constantly searching for something that was going to make me feel good or feel better.
Right.
And she's found her passion, you know. I mean, it's amazing what our kids are capable of if
Right.
they have like the avenue, the resources, the tools, you know.
Right.
So,
Amen to that.
hmm
Well, I want to thank you, Kerry, for coming through the studio today. Uh, Kerry Israel, 7 years
yep,
coming up, or already 7 years?
already 7 years.
7 years of sobriety, sober, clean, and from the Standing Rock Reservation, Cannonball,
Woohoo!
the Dakota, and the director of the Sanctuary Sober Living for Women's House in Minot, North Dakota. Um, and if you are interested, uh, want some, you got some questions about the sanctuary, you can contact Kerry.
Mhm.
You can just go on the website. But they are always looking for donations to be able to fix things in the house and keep the operation rolling to be able to help women. You know what I mean? And not everybody is going to be a success story, but if just one is a success story, we save somebody's life. You know what I mean? And it just continues to keep going and keep going and keep going.
Mm.
But I want to thank you, sis. I love you.
Love you too.
I'm proud of you. And you keep doing your thing. And just think, once you got that degree and you're an RN nurse, you'll have an at-home stay man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? She'll be fried bread sugar mom. Nah, I love.
Love you too, man.
Yeah, I love seeing y'all together, and shout out to the sanctuary, all the women that's at the sanctuary. Make sure you follow the YouTube page, follow the Instagram, the Facebook page. Stay tuned. A lot of events coming up in the near future. If anybody is looking to be a guest on the show, if anybody's looking to sponsor the show so we can do what we do and do more events, if anybody has any events or speaking engagements that you would like to have Sober Talk come and speak, or just set up there and we can broadcast, we can sell merch, we can whatever you need us to do. I am a keynote speaker, and we do events. I mean, I have a whole roster of speakers that roll with us if we need multiple speakers. But we do prisons events. I mean, treatment centers. Uh, September 16th, Dickinson State University. Going to speak to all the students. Um, September no, September 16th, and then September 6th in Dickinson, North Dakota. The Hopes Landing Sober Living for men and women having their annual 5K sober run. We were there last year's setup, and we'll be there this year's setup. Uh, so if you want to come check it out, come check it out. It's a good event. It's just all about keeping people sober and helping people in the community as much as we are possible. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun, baby. I want to thank KERRY, Israel, Steve Rook for coming, the Sanctuary, and stay tuned to subscribe to the Instagram, the Sober Talk YouTube page, and the Facebook. We're gonna be doing a lot of new things, a lot of new questions and answers, a lot of new events. So I ask everybody just to stay tuned and subscribe. If you got any ideas, feel free to message me. If you need some resources or if you need help, we got resources all over the country. If I don't know the answer, I'm pretty sure I know someone that does have the answer. I can lead you in that direction. But feel free to reach out. You know what I mean? Um, that's the first step. That's the first step. And I want to give a shout out to Many Visions Apparel right here in Bismarck, North Dakota for supporting Sober Talk and sobriety. Um, it's a great thing. But check out their store on Broadway, um, right by Hartview, downtown Bismarck. They got some cool apparel in there and cool things. And you can go in their online store as well. Shout out to the Sanctuary, the New Freedom Family Center that's fixing to open in Bismarck, North Dakota by North Walmart, where women can bring their kids the treatment. Also, shout out to Tide for Second Sober Living, New Freedom Center, Serenity Bridge Sober Living, right here in Bismarck, North Dakota, the House of Fade, where you can get the best fade in the world in Mandan, North Dakota. Shout out to Resurrection Tattoo, where you get hooked up and not effed up. Shout out to Maya's Mission, uh, Treasures of the Sea and Earth, um, and Prairie Recovery Center. So if you're looking for a bed in Raleigh, North Dakota, St. Gertrude, you can go to treatment in a quiet country area, and Prairie Recovery Center. Also, shout out to J Dobo, the leading spice in the land. If you ain't sneezing, it ain't seasoning, baby. You know what I mean? Get your J Dobo. You can go on www.jdobo.com. You can get free recipes, and you can order you some of the original spice, the mellow, the different hot sauces, the J Dizzle, and you can see where he's gonna be at. And but feel free to reach out to J Dobo. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And you wouldn't believe how your life would be a year from now if you stay sober. I mean, my brother, Jacob Lawson, Mr. Make It Extraordinary. You can follow all his platforms as well, and you can get his book on Amazon, um, all platforms. But he used to tell me, he be like, let's try to stay sober for one night, just one night. You know what I mean? And I couldn't do it. And
Yeah.
so just think how your life will be 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. 7 years from now, 8 years from now, um, it does get better. You know what I mean? The body does heal itself, the mind heals itself, the spirit heals itself. But you gotta want this. You know what I mean? You gotta have something worth waking up for every day. And but it can be done. And I got faith and I'm praying for everybody and I love y'all. But I hope y'all have a great weekend. And just remember, if you can't stay sober, catch a Uber. And in the words of my great grand sponsor, Jack Height, if nobody told you yet, we love
Sober
you, baby.
Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby.
How did that go at the top?
Good.
One more time.
Oh yeah, man.
That was fun.